I think by just clicking on this video, we're all going straight to hell. Class A type of shit. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. Your mama's going to hell. In fact, we're all going to hell. And she's the Uber driver. Okay? Because this is pure Luciferian type of shit. So we're going to be reacting to her video and seeing what she has to say and hope that the spawn of Satan doesn't spawn out of nowhere and takes us back to hell. Okay? So.
Like a boss.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mindful Reaction series, where we're going to be reacting to other YouTubers, dating advice related content. If you guys want me to react to other forms of videos, like maybe TED Talks, I want to react to some TED Talks. And I'm going to be having a bigger reaction series on my Patreon. I haven't uploaded it yet. We're going to start uploading tomorrow. But that's where we're going to be uploading most of the mindful reaction videos. And the really like algorithmic reaction videos are going to be posted here, but the more nuanced are going to be posted on Patreon. So for just $5 a month, you guys can get access to the mindful reactions and the Robert Greene book club and some of the freeloaders hours where people ask me questions and I answer that, and that's all for $5 a month. So subscribe or I'm closing the channel. I think that okay, let's begin. Oh, and don't forget 50% off all of my courses using the coupon code MINDFUL. That ends at the end of the year, and 20% off working with me one-on-one using the coupon code MINDFUL. Okay, so let's begin.
Hello ladies and genitals, welcome back to my Daily Motion channel. It's literally 7,000 degrees in my bedroom and I want to kill myself. No, I don't. If you don't know, I have a second channel.
Are we gonna have to speed it up?
Leave when they do these things.
Honestly, she is definitely not. I thought she was gonna be a sweet, like, let me bake you a cake type of energy, but she's giving me some evil vibes, people. I mean, I'm watching my back and I see myself on the screen.
Easiest way to not get manipulated by people is to have a life. Have friends, maybe get a therapist, have good mental health, and don't be isolated. The people who are most susceptible to being manipulated are those who are vulnerable, isolated, and don't have any friends. This is
and what's funny is not just manipulation, but also health concerns. By you isolating yourself, you could also develop a lot of health problems, like your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure. A bunch of things happen when a human being is isolated, not just psychologically, but also physically.
Oh, you can manipulate someone to getting addicted to you. Be very unpredictable. So if you have them on like an intermittent reinforcement schedule, this will always make
schedule. Jesus Christ.
And I'll give you an example.
Jesus.
Text messaging. You're replying to them consistently every couple of minutes, and then suddenly, out of the blue, you're gone for 8 hours. All
right, people, we're gonna have to pray for this lady. Give us 1 second. Congregation. All right, let's continue.
That's an air of unpredictability, and it really fucks with someone's dopamine, and that makes them addicted to you. Second of all, hot and cold. Hot and cold, you have to be careful because it usually establishes a trauma bond.
You see, this is the thing about this, what you guys have to understand is that this is a natural part of life. In other words, if you're honest with someone, if you're really being honest with someone, you're gonna have moments where you don't want to talk to them. You're gonna have moments when you're just not in the zone, right? The problem is that when we like someone, we tend to not show them that side of our personality. When we're sort of like don't want to talk to them, we don't show them that because we're afraid that they might take that as a rejection and we might lose them. Truth is, you don't have to. Sometimes you don't want to talk to them and you think that's gonna ruin the relationship. But it's like, no, if you're actually honest with yourself and you are a normal human being, you're gonna have mood swings. You're gonna have moments when you don't want to talk. You're gonna have moments where you don't want to have sex with the person. You're gonna have moments when you want your distance, but sometimes you're so afraid to express that desire that you actually end up losing cool points, if that makes sense. Because if you actually express yourself and say, hey, look, Tyrone, or hey, look, Melissa, I want some distance, and Tyrone's like, well, what the fuck? What do you mean goddamn distance, right? But you want distance because sometimes you gotta have your own personal space. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that confrontation of explaining that and hurting their feelings. But if you actually if you really are honest with yourself, you're gonna do this very naturally. You don't have to like come up with a schedule. You know, if you have a life and you're not on your phone all the time, you're not going to be texting them all the time. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, if you actually make your goal to live a healthy, mentally healthy life, you're not going to be on your phone naturally. And sometimes you're not going to, because you're not on your phone all the time, you're not going to text them fast all the time. So you don't have to do the manipulation. She's not teaching that, by the way. I'm not gonna fuck with her like that. But it's because the title is just to click on it. But I'm just saying, like, it's something that it's a natural part. We just suppress it.
And they're not fun, but they will be obsessed with you. So what is an example of hot and cold? One day someone is showing you a bunch of love. The next day they switch up. You don't know when they're going to be hot again. And also what happens now is you start to crave their validation. You want them to be hot towards you again. You don't want them to be cold. So if it's constantly on and off, on and off, on and off, it's gonna make you crave that dopamine again. And when you get it, you'll get addicted. And then the cycle repeats. Be the source of pain and pleasure. This is also, tying into the...
This is sounding like my channel. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, cause the pain, but the only one that be the only one that he can heal. This is reminding me of that video that says, "Men want pain, give it to them." Ladies and gentlemen, we're going straight to hell. You too, you're also going straight to hell. But that is very true. If you become the source of pain and pleasure, you pretty much are in control of their dopamine and of their cortisol levels. You are literally controlling their hormones, and that type of control, it's pretty much what addiction is. Those are the two primary addictive compounds in the brain, neurochemicals, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
The unpredictability. At the beginning of the relationship, you can just give them a lot of pleasure, then it turns into pain, then pleasure, then pain.
Yeah, because you respect what you can predict, but no, you respect what you can't predict, and you lose respect for whatever you could predict. There's mysticism behind unpredictable people and things, and there's a lack of mysticism behind things you could predict. The weather doesn't mystify us anymore because we could predict it. But when we weren't able to predict the weather, there was more respect you had. There was more fear. Every moment could have been that moment when it rained. Any moment could have been that moment. And so it's kind of like there's more like anticipation. When you anticipate and you don't know what you're about to anticipate, there's a certain level of like, you in that moment you're like, okay, what's about to happen? So your body is almost like preparing to give you an experience of different emotions, and those emotions you have no control over because you can't predict it. Once the thing happens, like once the unpredictable things happen, it releases more emotions because you were in a state of like suspense, like what's gonna happen? And that state of what's gonna happen is when you're talking to someone, you're paying more attention to them. You're more needy. You're more reactive to them. You're more twitchy. When they leave, you feel that drop of emotion when when your heart falls to your stomach, because you're in that state of like suspense. Like you're almost like you're holding on to a cliff and your hands are slipping. Like you're just like, and it brings your whole body to attention. And that's why this strategy is so powerful. It takes up your whole body.
Crave the pleasure again. Do you guys see the trend? It's all about being unpredictable. Unpredictability fucks with your dopamine. And why won't this work on people who are high quality or self-aware? Because even though the same psychological process is happening in your brain, you will consciously be able to say, I don't want to mess with this. Like, I know what's happening right now. And that's why it won't work.
Yeah, because, and it's not just because they also have high self-worth, but it's because their emotions, they're able to control their emotions. Understand that when you get caught up by someone who's unpredictable, what's happening is that your limbic system is literally hijacking your frontal cortex. Your emotional brain is hijacking your rational brain. So you can't, so if you're naturally insecure people have a more hyperactive limbic system. It's always sending signals of emergency. And when you're in a state of emergency, in a state of fear, you're naturally more, your decision making isn't that good because you're just always in a state of fear and stress. But people with high self-esteem have a calmer mind and can think more clearly. And if you think clearly, you can see clearly. And so you're able to tell, okay, this person is just trying to manipulate me. This person is just trying to do this, trying to do that. And that is, like I said, it's not a lack of knowledge why some people get manipulated more. It's just that some people just have a higher active limbic system. It's always on overdrive, and it's always releasing unnecessary emotions in form of stress, in a form of fear, and that kind of stuff.
And it will work on majority of people because, in my opinion, majority of people in this day and age don't have a lot of self-worth. So use that how you will. Affirm someone's shadow self. Find out their fears, their weakest links, their biggest dreams, the things they are ashamed of, and affirm it to them.
This reminds me of the cannibal girl. People I still hang out with, she's a cool girl. Don't think she's a fucking like people. When people think of a cannibal, they think of like some tribe and having like a baby foot. Like no. Well, she told me that she had the morbid desire to have a taste of human. And me, like I said, I got creeped out when I heard that. My whole body became cold. But you know, I realized that she just had a culinary curiosity, similar to wanting to eat the foot of a fucking dinosaur, right? So we would joke around. I'm like, "Would you eat that?" You're like, "No, he looks like he might have too much grease." And I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't eat him." You know, I would joke around with her, and just go with it, right? And you know, ever since then, I noticed that she's more comfortable around me. You know.
Support them, you believe them, you love them, you fully accept them. This works on everyone because everybody has a shadow self. Mm-hmm. And it's not even difficult to find out someone's shadow self. You just have to listen.
It's almost like if you're dating fucking Michael Myers and you let him know, hey, I don't mind that you kill people, I still date you. Michael Myers is gonna say, oh my God, somebody loves me for even with my flaws. There's something really flattering and really seductive when somebody knows your flaws and accepts your flaws, or even better, likes your flaws, right? And that's your shadow side. When you feel like you don't have to hide in front of this person, that in and of itself, just because I could 100% be myself around you, you are valuable in my eyes because I'm able to be my crazy, psychotic self, and you accept it. Because everyone is hiding their true nature. And by you giving somebody the ability to be themselves, their creepy selves, they just get seduced by that.
To what they're saying. This will always work, even if someone has self-worth, because it's not really entirely manipulative, like maybe you're just a supportive person. But this will especially work on someone that is isolated. Because if you're isolated, you really have no one supporting you. And that's why people who are alone are always targeted. And that's also why narcissists will purposely isolate you from your family and your friends because it will make you more vulnerable.
A lot of cults do that.
You can do this in
one of the things that cults do is that they isolate you. But also this isolation, like when she's talking about manipulation, this also works in a positive direction, right? Where you isolate someone to help them get over drugs, where you go to a meditation retreat and you isolate yourself from the world to allow the spiritual to influence you. So isolation is the best way to get influence. You isolate yourself and you learn a subject. You isolate that subject. You isolate that muscle. You isolate the person. Isolation enhances whatever you're trying to engrave in a person's mind. So it's not just a negative thing, but when we talk about manipulation, we're just talking about influence that leads to the negative, or influence that has some overt intention, if that makes any sense. But you call that peer pressure. That's all that is. It's just peer pressure.
Number of ways. So the first way is tying into what we first talked about, unpredictability. You can affirm everything they're doing, love it, then one day switch up, and then quickly switch back. Suddenly, they don't know when they're going to get your approval.
Yeah, and like she said, this only works on people who are emotionally unstable, and that's a lot of people today, especially younger people. Younger people fall for this. Older people not as much, but younger people, especially now, since people are more insecure, social media has developed more depression, more body dysmorphia. There's more people, women, girls especially, who don't know their identity, and they think they're a boy, they think they're a fucking spaghetti monster, and so their identities are everywhere. And so that tells you how easily malleable people are, and And when you and it's not just a thing that there's more people with gender dysmorphia or with dysmorphia or with depression. It's just that that type of environment breeds toxic people. So it's really dark, the world. At least today. Well, it's always been dark.
You can do it by putting yourself on a pedestal and just diminishing their self-worth. All of their accomplishments or of their achievements, put them down, belittle them. You don't even have to do it explicitly. Just seem very unimpressed by it. And it makes people work.
Yeah, like an Asian parent, right? Like, let's think about being an Asian parent where he got an A+, and then you say, well, Tyrone got an A++, you know what I'm saying? But man, that's fucked up. Like, it's better for you to observe this and see this if this happened to you in your life, which she does say. I'm not going to be unfair to her because a lot of people will watch her videos and say she's telling people to be manipulative. If you really fucking listen to the video, she will say this only works on people with low self-esteem, but most people just have low self-esteem, right? I'm hoping, I'm assuming that she said that not to do this. Hey, that's the halo effect going on.
Manipulation tactic is making someone feel special. So if you want to do a favor for them, or they ask you to do something, you have to make it seem really special. Like, oh, I usually don't do these things, but like, I'm gonna do it for you.
Oh, I heard that part. Oh, I usually don't do this. And then she looks like a fucking pro. Okay. No, Alexis.
Or through affirming their shadow self, you make them feel special. There's so many ways to do it, and I hope by now you can see that all of these tactics link together. But if you are able to make someone feel special about themselves, you will always have some level of control over them, because they will always want to feel special. And they will always want to be seen in a positive light in your eyes now. So they will fight for your validation, and they will always fight to be on your good side, because they don't want that feeling to go away. Disqualify someone's crown jewel. If they're rich, disqualify it. If they love their job, disqualify it. They love their kids, kill them. What? I'm joking. Once you take away something that someone identifies themselves with.
Yeah, like for example, LeBron James. You know, I don't like basketball. You could just tell him I don't like basketball, but it's nice that you play, right? If he's an artist, you just say I'm not into art. Honestly, man, that'll definitely get me a little bit. I'm like, bitch, you don't like painting? Look at this painting that I just did. It's fucking nice. You know, what would I react to it? I mean, I think that might get me a little bit. That might get me a little bit, perhaps. Yeah. It might. Listen, people. A lot of people are listening to this and saying that will work on me. Okay, fucking Jesus, Buddha, like that won't work on you. Okay, how special. So many people watch my videos and say, "Oh, this only works if you're like," especially when I tell about comparisons and triangulation. How when there's another woman in a man's life, you naturally get more competitive. So many women in the comment section were like, "Oh, that's not me. Oh, that'll never happen to me. Oh, no. Okay, all right. You know yourself that much, huh? Okay, all right. Sure, that'll never happen to you. You never felt jealous, all right? Have you felt jealous before? Oh, yeah. Okay, then that means it could happen to you. Goddamn. Like, who do you think you are? Like, the Virgin Mary? Like, that could get you. You could get got. Anybody can get fooled. Anybody that says that they cannot get played, that these strategies don't work on them, they are the perfect victims of manipulators, because that means even if you get played, your ego won't let you admit that you're getting played. So you'll get played even worse. That's called denial, people.
A lot of rich people, they're all about their money. Money is who they are. You take it away, who are they? You disqualify it, you have control over them. They will work harder to please you now. That's why I noticed guys will never compliment hot girls. And it's not because they think they know the girl knows they're hot already. It's because they don't want to give her that validation.
Yeah, but that's just insecure. I get it though, because a lot of women don't really like you. A lot of women nowadays just see you as an object of self-esteem. So I understand why a lot of guys don't give compliments to women. That's just the truth. Me, I've known. I used to be like that when I was younger. I would never compliment you. Like, I just won't. Like, unless you ask me to compliment you, I will. But before I didn't. But I don't know, man. I noticed that complimenting women, you could definitely, you could, it does have an effect. I don't give a fuck, man. I'll compliment your ass out the wazoo. If I like you, I'll compliment you, you know? It doesn't hurt for me. At least for me, it doesn't hurt me. But then again, I'm not an ugly person. You know, like I'm not ugly, so it's kind of like it kind of works, but at the same time, what guys struggle with complimenting women is that a lot of guys are talking to women that they don't like, that the women don't find them attractive. So obviously you're going to get negative feedback, but compliment a woman that likes you and you'll notice how it'll get to her head, you know, in a positive way, especially when she's feeling insecure about herself, or complimenting a woman on what she feels insecure about. That does work. You know what I'm saying?
Is then she has more power. And what did I say in one of my other videos? The person with the power is the one that's acknowledging the beauty. If it's not acknowledged, does the beauty even exist? Another one you can do is disqualifying someone's enemies. So just be on their side basically, and then switch up if you want to.
I don't know about that. That's homegirl. I don't agree with that one. Please explain why that works.
A lot of cults use this. It's a very like us versus them mentality. One of my favorite tactics is just being silent. Silence is a great manipulation tactic.
Bitch talk. I could talk while she's doing that.
Psychology one is
Hitler used to do that. Little Hitler, when he would get in front of the stage, Hitler would just stand like this and just look until everyone was quiet. He's like, I cannot talk until everyone is quiet. And he's like, and everyone will get the hint, right? Because humans don't like silence. Silence is the ultimate torture weapon. To a human who is resisting life, silence is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. So it does work. And again, silence works depending on the level of the person's insecurity. Again, we all know that everyone who watches my videos, none of these tactics work for them. Or okay, all right. They work for me though. They work on me. But for some reason, some of you ladies, this shit don't work. Y'all have a special anti-manipulation force field.
A narcissist do a lot, and it's love bomb. They're just throwing affection at you, they're obsessed with you, it makes you feel good, and then they stop. And what happens when they stop? You're like, where did this go? What happened? You blame yourself. You're obsessed with them.
Yeah, this usually happens when you're talking to a person who's not over their ex. And so they'll love bomb you because you might even look like their ex. And they'll love bomb you because they're projecting their feelings for the other ex onto you. And unfortunately, most likely, those feelings don't belong to you. And if something gets fixed between them two, that person would just kick you out and they'll go back to the ex. So it happens a lot.
Ties back to point one, the whole dopamine thing. That's why you have to know these tactics. Because the moment someone starts love bombing me, I'm out of there. I kind of enjoy it.
Or just take a few steps back. Just say, hey, homie, you're too hot right now. Slow your hot ass down. I like the affection, but let's just slow it down a little bit. Control the pace. That's the way to deal with these people. So then you can observe their facial expression and see how they react to you slowing them down.
I'm out of there. I kind of enjoy it, but I'm out of there. If you want to manipulate someone into being vulnerable with you, you talk about personal things regarding yourself. It doesn't even have to be real. You can make
look. Man, I'm gonna have to sleep with one eye open with her. Look, the issue is that when I think about these types of situations, I don't call it manipulation. For me, I call it more. It encourages you to open up, because opening up doesn't make you look weak. Opening up should allow both of you guys to feel to lower yourselves down to the size that you really are. And to not just have a front of just confidence. Opening up says, hey, look, I'm going to open up so you can open up. Sometimes your goal to open up is to get them to open up as well. The issue is that when you're opening up to hurt them, when I open up to people, is to see whether or not they're willing to open up with me too. Honestly, just don't open up about fake shit. I know she's saying that. I used to say that too, even though I didn't do that myself. But you know what I'm saying? I said it for the sake of the video. But generally speaking, and she knows this, I know she does, because I understand, I could see myself in her, to be honest with you. But it's more so, I say this to encourage you to open up, because a lot of people think that if you open up, it's going to make the person not like you. It's actually the opposite. When you open up, you allow people to not have to put up a front around you. That's why people love animals and children, because around children and animals, you don't have to be fake, because they're vulnerable by their nature. A child is vulnerable naturally. You can smack the little motherfucker and he'll be crying, right? So it's kind of like that vulnerability makes the other person open up as well. So you could think of it as like, hey man, if you want to get this person if you want to manipulate this person, open up. Or I can say, hey, if you want them to open up, you can open up as well, right? But again, manipulation to me sounds like you have some evil intentions. Influence to me sounds like you have good intentions. That it's just changing up the words,
Story. And I noticed a lot of guys do this to get the girl to feel bad for them and to open up and connect.
Hey, don't blame this on us, all right?
You're emotionally vulnerable. That is when you're bonding more to other people. Okay,
yeah,
guys,
that's
it.
especially that's when I've fallen in love with a woman, and when I've been hurt the most is when I fell in love with someone while I was depressed. It's like that relationship is going to be toxic. It's like having a kid when you're on crack. That baby's going to come out as a crack baby. If you get in a relationship when you're at the lowest point of your life, you're asking for trouble, boo boo. You're asking for trouble.
Can't speak clearly right now, and I'm falling all over the place because it's so hot. My ring light is so damn bright. I can't focus. But anyways, remember, these tactics will always work. Everyone has the same psychological processes.
Yeah, I think people,
but it won't work.
I think it will work on anyone who likes you. Opening up makes almost anybody open up. Like, it's just human nature. It's like those moments in TV shows where they're like crying and both of them bond over this revelation. It's the same thing. People, when you open up about things and you even make a show out of it, like it'll get anyone emotional. I mean, isn't that what movies are? Where actors cry and then we cry because of it?
On someone that knows themselves well or has high self-worth, because they will have enough self-control to step away from you when you start doing these things. And if you want to know how to really, really implement it successfully, then you have to get to know yourself. And through getting to know yourself, you will get to know others and human behavior. Like, genuinely, anytime someone does something to me, I have to analyze it. Why did I react this way? Why did I get attached, even though I don't like them? What made me feel this way? And then I come up with my own theories, then I read on psychological theories, then I journal about it, and now that is my knowledge. It's a part of me. Use these carefully, at your will. And if you're a guy watching this and you follow me on Instagram and you're trying to hit me up and you use my tactics on me, it's not gonna work.
Oh, she's one of those people. Okay, all right, girl. Look, but I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I feel very insecure about, how people perceive me. And, sometimes it hurts. It hurts, and sometimes I cry. Father Alex, stop trying to manipulate her. You know exactly what the fuck you're trying to do. Calm down, Melissa. God damn it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what else she has to say.
Ich liebe dich. Tschüss. Oh, don't forget, merch on sale. Go follow my second channel.
All right, this is a highlight reel of her life. We don't want to see that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys ever want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindforattraction.org. What was I going like that for? If you guys ever, anyways, 20%. Don't forget the coupon code mindful to get discounts, and it only applies for this month only. Okay. All right. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next. In fact, we're all going to hell. This chick is the Uber driver.